fracture, and this is mostly what we thought, what we consider for our PULM fractures protocol. So, so the first thing is that you have to evaluate the displacement with an oblique view. This is the same. This is very similar to the lateral condyle fractures. They are oblique, so you need an oblique view. So, so if you can have a front and a lateral, and it looks like there is no displacement, and the real displacement is in oblique view, like in the lateral condyle fractures. And the other thing is that the displacement is proximal and volar. This is different to the lateral condyle fractures, okay? And the other concept is that when they are displaced, the results are bad in 50% of cases because they develop stiffness or osteonecrosis. And if you do an upper reduction, the chance of having an osteonecrosis is really high. So for non-displaced fractures, like in lateral condyle fractures of the humerus, you can do conservative, or and with a close control, or you can fix them, but the risk of secondary displacement is very high, and if you have had secondary displacement, you are in a trouble. So as I said, this is the same concept of lateral condyle fractures, but if you have a secondary displacement in a lateral condyle fracture, you can reduce it. But in these fractures, you will see that reduction doesn't good very, you have a high risk of complications. So this is a case of secondary displacement. You can see the remodeling like 10 years later. 10 years later. Okay, so for me, this non-displaced fracture has to be treated with fixation and percutaneous pinning. Okay, and if it's displaced, the same thing. Close reduction and percutaneous pinning. 2K wires if you can. And this is critical. So the how you position the patient. So I think it's very useful to put an arm holder to lean the elbow, because you will have to fight with the weight of the limb. And then you put the digit over the X-ray source, because this is of course this is in a small structure. So the only thing that you can see properly the bone is putting it in the X-ray source. If you do the opposite, like the safety protocol says, you will not have a big image, and you will not be precise. Okay, so you can reduce and hold the reduction with a bone clamp, but again, you need to do 2 little bit punctures with a blade. Otherwise, the the tip of the bone holder will not be stable, will move. Okay, and then you can put 1 wire, and if you can, you put 2. Normally, you can only put 1. 2 wires have the same stability as 1 screw. And so to me, if you cannot reduce, what I do is accepting malunion, because the risk of osteonecrosis is high. And then you can treat afterwards the digit deviation with a more proximal incomplete osteotomy. So this is the case you saw before. In that case, we did this osteotomy, or incomplete osteotomy, or osteoclasty. In that case, because she was an adolescent, we used endomedular screw, but you can use a K wire, and this is the case. Okay, and the typical complication is the osteonecrosis. You can get an osteonecrosis even with a closure reduction in displaced fractures. And my experience is like the literature says. So thank you. That's all.
Thanks, Jessica. The osteonecrosis thing is a critical point, teaching point, because it's once you've lost that fragment, yeah, things are very difficult from there. Very hard to get a decent joint. I don't know that we've got any questions in the chat. So you don't use a screw at all? You don't use a percutaneous screw as an alternative? You're happy with the wires, even in the older children?
But I've tried in older, but percutaneous screws I've tried most for diaphyseal, for long oblique diaphyseal.
Okay.
So it's difficult.
So we do have a question here: is how do you treat osteonecrosis?
I think there is no good solution. So if you have a really stiff osteonecrosis, the only good solution is the vascularized joint from the foot, a toe vascularized joint. If you have some motion and you have a deviation, you can do just osteoclasty and incomplete osteotomy to realign the digit. And the other thing is, when you have a malunion, you don't lose motion. So that's what I think, that you don't have to treat to try to reduce them. You get them you got the union, and then you do the osteoclasty.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. I think it's, sometimes less is more. Trying to, you do a lot of harm in a small child's finger. And how long do you immobilize them for with the pins in?
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
4
and
weeks.
No formal therapy.
Yep. So does anybody have any other questions for Francisco? Have we got another one? Are we doing another one in December?
Yes, the PULM Talk, yes. I don't know.
Yep.
Let me check the program. In December, Charles Goldfarb will talk about ulnar dymelia.
Okay.
And that's the only, and then the other 2 talks are still on the air. But we will have a good program.
In evolution, always have a good program.
It will be 11 December, always second Sunday of the month.
Now, I don't know whether you're aware, Tesco, but you look like something out of a sort of a movie. Only half of you is visible on the screen. It's a bit, you're like Mr. Invisible.
I am in the car.
So doing a talk from the car, that's fantastic. I think we probably can wrap things up. Zesco has put in the chat line. He's put in the PDF for this topic. We have had the PULM protocols for trauma have been compiled and are due to be published soon. Yeah, I think.
I hope. We have to do the edition, but as we are busy, etc. But we have to try to do the edition soon. It will be difficult to have it before the end of the year, which was the aim. But let's try. It will be like very schematic ideas about treatment for residents in the emergency gate. In emergency.
Comprehensive but concise.
Sure.
So look, I think we can draw things to a close. So thank you again to our speakers, to Paveen and to Anne, and also to Zesco. It's we're always good. It's amazing the talent that people have and prepared to share with us. So we really appreciate you all being part of it, and we'll see you on the 11th of December.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Auf Wiedersehen.
See you, Cisco.
Cheers.
See you, Dan. See you, everyone.
Adios, Dan.